we have new tag team champions, and the question on everyone's mind is, will Brock Lesnar show up at Night of Champions this Saturday? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and it is time for some predictions as we're just days away from Night of Champions, which should be renamed Night of Some Championships Are Defended, not all championships. Remember when Night of Champions meant every championship was defended? Yeah, me too. But we have some news to talk about from Monday Night Raw, which does bleed into our first match we will talk about here for Night of Champions. We have new tag team champions as seen on Monday Night Raw, as Seth Rollins and Joe Hendry cost the Vision the tag team championships, as it was Seth Rollins who took advantage of Joe Hendry chasing Logan Paul off, and Seth Rollins hitting Austin Theory with Logan's brass knuckles, leading to a 5-star splash from the heavens by Montez Ford for the win. And the Street Profits are your new tag team champions, which has made me rethink my prediction for this match here. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Steel Cage match. So, it seems as if we are finally going to get the conclusion to this whole Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Vision stuff. So, who will ultimately win, right? Because obviously Braun Breaker is the young up and coming star, and obviously he needs to win, but also they still kind of keep teasing Seth Rollins to be in that main event picture where he keeps talking about winning the World Heavyweight Championship. So obviously the winner of King of the Ring, and we'll get into that here in a second. Obviously, if Femi beats Jey Uso, he's going to pick Roman Reigns. So that would mean Seth wouldn't be able to face Roman, but it still does make me wonder, is Braun going to win or Seth going to win? And I think ultimately here, just because of how Raw ended, I think it's going to be Braun Breaker that ends up winning the Steel Cage match. I do think there's a possibility here that Bronson Reed might make his return to WWE after his injury. So I'm going to go Braun Breaker beats Seth Rollins, whether it's clean or via the help of Bronson Reed. Queen of the Ring finals, as it is Liv Morgan against Io Sky, and boy oh boy, if the WWE picks the wrong winners for the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, and that being Liv Morgan and Jey Uso, I think we should just cancel the King and Queen of the Ring tournament and just put Money in the Bank back in the summer slot instead. So, this match here should absolutely be for the Women's World title. Why Liv Morgan has not defended that title at all is bonkers to me. Like, it is crazy how one injury all of a sudden just derails plans for creative. Like, does WWE not realize how talented and how deep their women's roster is? I mean, Bayley, Lyra, you had Becky, hell, you had Roxanne, Raquel. I mean, when Seth Rollins got injured and he had to vacate the world title, they did the turn right away with Braun Breaker and the Vision turning on Seth. So why not speed things up and have Raquel and Roxanne take out Liv Morgan, or whatever they needed to do, but she hasn't. This is her first like real match in like a while, and it's not even her defending the world title because it doesn't make sense for her character that she wants both titles. But anyway, that's a whole separate video that I might do later this week. But Liv Morgan, Io Sky. I think Io Sky will win here. Obviously, you do have that dark cloud kind of looming over with Rhea Ripley's injury. And the fact that the WWE hasn't said anything really about Rhea having a really big, massive injury that may cause her to vacate the title tells me that she's going to be okay. And that they're just keeping her off TV until, just for safety precautions, obviously. Maybe Rhea Ripley will defend her championship at the big Saturday night's main event in New York next month or something. But outside of that, I think we could be looking at Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Or Io could just pick Liv Morgan and then we just get a repeat of the same match we just had for the Queen of the Ring finals. Moving on to the King of the Ring finals. It is Oba Femi against Jay Uso, who I think Oba Femi could probably win this match in like 10 seconds if he just lets Jay Uso yeet, run it back, let the bell ring, and hit a fall from grace. Boom, done, the match is over because Jay would be so gassed from his entrance and running it back, he would not have enough energy to kick out from a fall of grace, and this match could be over within like under a minute. Honestly, did you all see that promo on Raw? Like, Jay Uso was literally gassed and could barely even do his promo from all the yeeting and running it back, and it was insane. Anyway, yes, I've talked about it before. We're at that point of, oh my gosh, we're one win away from King Jey Uso. And yes, if Brock Lesnar gets involved and hands it to Jey Uso, I talked about it up here. You can go up here and watch that video here. But this does give you the perfect setup with Oba Femi already fighting one member of the Bloodline ahead of Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. So this does get Oba Femi right into the Bloodline vortex, so to speak, and right into the path of the Bloodline. And maybe we'll get some matches with Oba, Jacob, Oba, and the Usos ahead of SummerSlam. But there is that dark cloud known as Brock Lesnar that a lot of people are worried, and like I said, Brock could hand the King of the Ring to Jey Uso. But the fact that we have not seen Brock Lesnar, it worries me in a way because the WWE once has kind of painted this picture of like, oh, we expect Oba Femi to show up. We expected Brock Lesnar to show up and cost Oba in the Fatal 4-Way. That did not happen. We expected Brock Lesnar to show up and help and cost him against Dirty Dominic Mysterio. That did not happen. So is this going to be one of those things where the WWE wants us to think that Brock is not showing up? Like, we expect him to show up, but he doesn't show up. But we expect him to show up, or we don't expect him to show up because we haven't seen him so far. We think, oh, he's not showing up, and then boom, Saudi payday comes around and Brock Lesnar shows up. So I am picking Jey Uso. I am picking Oba Femi to win the King of the Ring and go on to face Roman Reigns. And I thought it was very interesting when Oba Femi was telling the London crowd that, hey, which champion should I choose? They booed the idea of him going after Cody Rhodes, even though there is unfinished business with Oba and Cody going back to John Cena's final match, Saturday night's main event. But when he said Roman Reigns, the crowd in London went insane. So I do think it's going to be Oba Femi winning King of the Ring. And you know what? It would not surprise me if Oba pulls double duty at SummerSlam. Night 1, he retires Brock Lesnar. Night 2, he becomes the World Heavyweight Champion. And before we get to Cody Rhodes and the WWE Championship, let's talk about the other championships on SmackDown that will be defended at Night of Champions. Let's start with the Women's United States Championship with Tiffany Stratton defending against Jade Cargill. So, I know fans were not too high on their feud for the the women's championship last year. To me, we've seen what Jade can do when she actually has time to, wrestle, tell a story, and she's been able to have good matches. Do I expect that here? Not written, somewhat, but I do think Tiffany will retain here. I think they want her to go into Minnesota, her hometown of Minnesota, as the women's United States champion. And I do think there is a possibility that they maybe just keep Jade around that women's championship picture after this, especially when Rhea Ripley comes back. Plus, we do know there's Charlotte, there's Alexa. So there's still that little bit of stuff that Jade can do. And obviously, Jade and Charlotte is the dream match that everyone wants. So it is possible that maybe Jade even beats Tiffany Stratton and then she faces Charlotte for the United States Championship at SummerSlam. But I'm going to go Tiffany Stratton for my official prediction. Moving to the men's side of the United States Championship, it is going to be Trick Williams defending against Ricky Saints. And Ricky Saints is making his PLE debut here. I know a lot of people thought it would have been Carmelo Hayes, but I do think this is what Ricky Saints needed. He hasn't been able to connect to that main roster audience yet, and I think getting featured here in NXT, on a PLE here, and playing off of the history with Ricky Saints, Trick Williams in NXT, I think it kind of works very well in this matter where you can at least have that backstory. So I'm going to go Trick Williams here, and I think Trick will retain his championship. I think it's too early for him to lose. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, triple threat match. Cody Rhodes defends the WWE Championship against Gunther and Sami Zayn. I said this in my random wrestling discussion on Sunday. I honestly do not care for this feud anymore. It's just not working. They just need to move on from it. And for Cody, for whatever reason, they just cannot figure out the booking when he's the champion. So, can you imagine if Jay actually wins and they do Jay versus Cody at SummerSlam? Come on now. But I do think Cody Rhodes here will retain because I do think there's a bigger fish waiting for him at SummerSlam, and whether that's Randy Orton, CM Punk, one of those two, I believe, will be Cody Rhodes' next opponent or next major feud. So, most likely, probably Randy Orton, because they probably want to redo the whole feud without celebrity involvement. So, yeah, Cody Rhodes will retain over Sami Zayn and Gunther and will remain your WWE champion. So, let me know in the comments below, guys, who do you think will win this Saturday at Night of Champions? And as always, make sure you do hit that like and subscribe button, as I do produce weekly wrestling content here on this channel. And as always, I've been your host, Money Mike, and you've been watching Ringside Cinema.